Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching the Today I Found Out YouTube channel, and in the video today we're looking at the fascinating reason why ladybugs are called ladybugs. Ladybugs, sometimes known as ladybirds and less commonly lady beetles, are a rarity in the insect world in that they're one of the few creepy crawly insects we as a species don't actively dislike due to their habit of eating the things that destroy our crops. But just how did this little insect get such a strange name? To start, while many members of the Coccinellidae family are colloquially known as ladybugs in a number of places in the States, technically speaking, they aren't considered to be a true bug. It's more fitting to instead refer to them as beetles. While it's certainly true that ladybugs possess several key qualities that bugs share, to be classified as a true bug, an insect must also possess sucking, beak-like mouthparts and go from egg to nymph to adult with no larva stage. The ladybug neither has the correct mouthparts nor skips the larval stage, so can't fall under this category. Instead, it is, as mentioned previously, a member of the beetle family, a group of insects characterized by hard, shell-like exteriors that often hides a set of delicate wings. However, the interesting part here isn't the bug part of the ladybug name or the bird part of the other common name, Ladybird, with these being somewhat obvious in their origins. The less obvious part is why these tiny voracious beetles have the word lady in their name. At first glance, there doesn't appear to be any particular reason why this should be the case. The beetles don't seem to possess any qualities associated with the fairer sex. It turns out the ladybird isn't named for any particular female trait it possesses, rather it is named for a specific lady, the Virgin Mary. Why? Well, this isn't precisely known. One of the leading theories is that the name came about as a result of the ladybug's bright red shell, which is not too dissimilar from the red cloak Mary is often pictured wearing in biblical paintings. There's also an old European legend that states that farmers, many hundreds of years ago, prayed to the Virgin Mary, asking for help to save them from the pests devouring their crops, and in return she sent a swarm of tiny beetles bearing her trademark coat to eat them. In truth, ladybugs are known to dine almost exclusively on insects we humans consider pests, like aphids, something old-timey farmers without pesticides or other easy means of keeping their crops protected from destructive creatures were no doubt incredibly thankful for. Since back in those days it was common to thank God for almost any good fortune, it's not hard to see how this legend popped up, and perhaps this gratefulness really did contribute to the name. Whatever the case, as it turns out, people believing the ladybug was a gift from God or Mary is supported by the fact that almost every European country ended up coming up with a name for this beetle that linked back to God or Mary. For example, in Germany the word for ladybug is Marienkäfer, which translates to Mary's beetle. In France, one common name is La Bête à bon Dieu, which roughly means God's animal, while in Russia a popular name is Bozhia Korovka, which translates to God's little cow, no doubt referring to the beetle's spots, which are not unlike the kind you'd find on certain cows. In fact, one of the alternate names for the beetle before ladybug or ladybird in English was lady cow. The earliest mention of the word ladybird referring to the beetle is noted by the Oxford English Dictionary to have occurred in 1674 in a dictionary of sorts covering Southern English words. It was noted in that work that, at the time, a common slang term for the little spotted beetle, commonly called the lady cow or ladybird, was bishop, further demonstrating the strong association people had with these beetles and their religion. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do click that like button below, and also subscribe to our channel for brand new videos just like this. Also, over there on the right, a couple of other videos you'll probably enjoy if you enjoyed this one, and thank you for watching.